All right, everyone, welcome back to the Sooner Surge, and we are just 40 days away from the Oklahoma basketball season kicking off. In this video, we are going to talk about some things from practice. We've seen two clips. We'll talk about them, analyze them as much as we can, and then we're going to talk about the schedule as well. We will mention that as well. That came out yesterday, so we will touch on that and touch on some things from practice. But first, if you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button. We're going to have all types of basketball content coming your way, as well as all the other Oklahoma sports. So you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed. And yeah, we're going to make these videos kind of like a weekly thing where we, discuss what we're given to discuss. But let's go ahead and start it out with the schedule. The schedule came out today. And for the Big 12 basketball schedule, which we hadn't seen yet, it will be starting out at home versus Iowa State, on the road versus Texas, on the road versus Kansas for the final time, at home versus West Virginia, at Cincinnati versus Texas Tech, at Kansas State, at UCF, BYU and Oklahoma State at home. Then you go to Baylor, come back home for Kansas, Oklahoma State on the road, Iowa State on the road, Houston at home, Kelvin Sampson returns, Cincinnati at home, and then Texas on the road. So I like seeing the Houston game on there. It's March 2nd. Then they will go back to Allen Fieldhouse for what could be the last time for a chance to finally win a game there, maybe January 13th. So those are the two biggest games to me that I look at. No big Monday games, which kind of was expected. Then you go to Oklahoma State, and what could be the final game played in Stillwater for a couple years. I do expect Bedlam will be kept. It will be played in basketball, but I don't think that it will be played in Stillwater very often based off certain stuff I've heard. So we're going to talk about, what we've seen. We've seen two clips on Twitter. The first clip was Caden Cooper going up for a dunk, and you can't really take much away from that, except for the fact that Caden Cooper is one of maybe the most athletic player they have had in a long time. Caden Cooper, man, this is someone I put out a tweet. He's going to be top 5 freshman in the country, I think. I mean, I'm very high on Caden Cooper. Buy all the stock that you can. Everything kind of matches up with what I've heard on how Caden Cooper is going to have a role early and often. He'll be someone that, one of the first 3-4 off the bench. I think that will happen with, in the first game, I think 3rd or 4th. And then, this is the type of guy that's just going to keep earning minutes. I mean, extremely well defender, very much an athletic freak. His jump shot, not bad at all. It's very serviceable. He's got the athleticism, plays with great speed. I don't think I've ever seen a wing that shot blocks the way he does. When you watch Caden Cooper, I can confidently say I've never seen that. I mean, that's a rare trait in a wing. It's not only that he's an elite defender, super, arms, wingspan, super long. I haven't seen someone be able to utilize that as a wing and shot block the way he can. So Caden Cooper, Otega always a lockdown. But when Owe is out the game, you got Caden Cooper and come off the bench, and he'll provide problems for anyone. I mean, yeah, I think Caden Cooper is going to play a lot. He's going to be a super exciting player this year. And, I mean, he's going to have 3 years in Norman. He'll be someone who we talk a lot about. When he's a junior, he'll be just, the sky's the limit for Caden Cooper. He was a must get in that recruiting class, and having him, his athleticism is that's huge to have on your team. Yeah, I think Caden Cooper is going to be someone we're talking about a lot this season. He's the type of guy, we've seen it. I'm not comparing him to this, but we've seen it with PJ number 34. Not going to try the last name in football. Through the first 4 games, you've seen the flashes. That's what you're going to get with Caden Cooper. You're going to see the athletic flashes. You're going to see, all types of flashes from him. He's just a very impressive player, and he'll play a lot this year. We also saw Sooners transfer guard Javion McCollum just bury a 3-pointer from long range. I mean, we all knew that McCollum was going to do that. We've seen the reports. How he's got the first-round potential along with Milos Uzan. He's probably the most electrifying player Oklahoma's had since Trae Young. McCollum, he's got the range. He'll shoot from the logo, much like Trae Young. You kind of see it in that clip. He's someone who can fill it up. I've been told he'll get you 30 any night. Night in, night out, McCollum can be a guy who'll get you 30. I don't think he'll average around 15 points. 15 points at Siena, that's good. maybe he gets there. That would be first round pick material. I'd predict like 10 or 11 points per game from McCollum with those games in which he goes out and gets 30. But he's got great speed. He'll push the ball. The backcourt duo and Javion McCollum and Milos Uzan, it's going to be hard to find any better than that in college basketball. I mean, straight up, those two guys, that's an elite backcourt. And McCollum's very fast. He's going to push the ball. I mentioned that before. And that's something Porter Moser, the two players I've been talking about, Caden Cooper and Javion McCollum, two players that fit this new fast-paced play style that Moser's going with this season. That's what McCollum brings, and that's what Caden Cooper brings. And McCollum, he's a very good point guard off the pick and roll as well. So he'll be their backup point guard, starting shooting guard is my guess on that. I think McCollum is going to be very good for Oklahoma. He'll be someone who shines in those first couple games, and then once they go to that, they'll go to Iowa and then play either Seton Hall or USC after their first 4 games, which is kind of a gravy first 4 games. It's Central Michigan, Mississippi Valley State, Texas State, and UTRGV. Then you go to that Rady Children's Invitational, you play Iowa, and then you play Seton Hall or USC. We're going to learn a lot about this team that weekend, and I think that's Thanksgiving week, by the way. I think that's when Javion McCollum, you're going to see him kind of explode onto the scene. And this is someone who there's been people saying he's the best point guard in college basketball, which DeJuan Harris exists, but then there is Javion McCollum. So, yeah, McCollum, he's going to be in for a special year. The clips of him filling it up from deep we've seen on Twitter from OU basketball. That's going to be something you see every single night from McCollum. That's part of his play style, and that's what makes him such a huge get for Oklahoma. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. The official practices, if you did not know, started Monday. So that's kind of why we're seeing Make It Official is what they put on Instagram. That's because they just started. So official practices started. We're now 40 days away from opening tip for Central Michigan. I believe there will be an exhibition in there we're around like 30 days from an exhibition game, 40 days from the first opening tip. So it's sneaking up on us. It always does. And now, hoping for let's not lose the first game again. That's obviously a big thing. But yeah, we're going to continue putting out Oklahoma basketball content. This one, first video talking about the schedule, talking about Caden Cooper, Javion McCollum. I appreciate each and every one of you watching. If you haven't, I want your thoughts in the comments down below. We'll make sure to respond to as many as possible. But yeah, if you haven't, make sure you subscribe. Boomer.